Hey everybody, welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 207. What's going on, Mike?
What up, homie? I am so jazzed for this episode.
Big week. We had a lot of things going on, a lot of things to talk about. First of all, I just want to say Mike must have been a drunken mess on Saturday night. I'm getting up early on I guess it would have been Friday night.
Yeah.
I'm getting up early on Saturday at the studio doing some things. And Mike, he at that time when he should have been home sleeping in his bed, he's here. And I had to give him a lift down to get his car because he went to a Christmas party for his workplace. And the thing was, Mike, you were the only one. We kind of joked when we pulled up to get your car when I drove you over there. But you were the only one. You were the only one responsible enough to get catch a lift home and not drive your vehicle. Every single other person there must not have been drinking is the way that I see it.
Apparently, I know the people I went with, people either had rides, or if they did have a drink, they only had one or two and then hung out the rest of the night, then left. So they were responsible. It's everyone else that was there that was not responsible.
Was there a lot of people down there?
Yeah, it was packed. It was busy, but it started to thin out later on.
Mike went to a local sports bar, and luckily that night, Mike, the Penguins were playing, and they were I think that was the second leg of their back-to-back games against the Sabres, huh?
It was the home game for us, and I look up, and who do I see skating? Christopher Letang. So he was the topic of conversation amongst the sports fans for a little bit there, how insane it is that he came back already, and that's just awesome that he was able to come back and play.
Absolutely. You just never know. I mean, you look back at the Pascal Dupuis situation. He had a couple blood clots. I think it happened a couple times as well. And he decided to hang it up. But here's Chris Letang after his second stroke, making it back out on the ice and leading all defensemen with minutes in that game. He had a little over 22 minutes. I think they said he averages about 24 a game regularly, and he was still able to get up right around 22. Mm-hmm. So looks like Chris might be okay, man.
Hopefully, knock on wood. But I think he is okay and good to go, because he would not be out there if the doctors did not clear him to play.
Well, that was a good night because the Penguins did win. They won 4-3 in overtime, and then also the following day, Friday night they won 4-3 overtime, and then Saturday. I don't even remember what fucking day that was.
Sidney Crosby, that bum that he is, only had a 3-point night when we had 3 goals.
Sidney Crosby, he's going to win the Hart Trophy. He's going to win the Hart Trophy. I can't believe how great he's playing, and he's one of these guys, Mike, that they can just seem to turn it off and turn it on. And there's just been time, right now he's turning it on. There's no stopping, there's no denying, and that just makes me think, wonder about through the times when these guys play when they can't get their game up to the level. What's the change? What is it? Is it a mind block? Is it because there's sometimes these guys can't seem to do anything, and then there's other times like right now where Sidney Crosby's red hot and he's all the the other that they're talking about in the NHL. So you wonder what that difference is.
Yeah. Well, with Sid, if he's not able to score goals, or he's having trouble getting assists, he every other aspect of his game is on point. Whether it be working hard down low behind the net like he always does, playing an effective 200-foot game, cleaning up in the neutral zone. So where if one part of his game is lagging, there's another part of the game making up for it. So he's that guy if not scoring well, he's playing defense well. If his defense is falling off, don't worry, he's going to score you a goal or two. He's just that type of player where, at least one aspect of the game will be rock solid. But, some other plays, it just happens. You know how it is, when you work and stuff, you're not always 100% ready to go into work and do stuff. Or you think you are, and you get there, it's like you just don't have it that day. You don't have it for a while,
Yeah.
And it happens. And, you have to figure the amount of pressure they're under. Too, sometimes it gets to you, and you have to work through it. And eventually, you see a lot of these guys, they end up working through it by that time. Malkin has gone through slumps and, does something off the ice, make himself feel better. And boom, next thing you know, hey, he's back to his old self.
And they are, Mike, they are on a little winning streak. I don't recall if it's 5 or 6 right now, but it was 5. And like I said, I just can't, I get the days mixed up on which, because those back-to-back days against the same team kind of throws me off a little bit.
We're 5-game win streak.
5-game winning streak. So we're climbing, Mike. The Penguins they play tonight. The Stars are coming to town. That's at 7:00. Let's see if the Penguins can keep it rolling.
Yeah, they've won 10 out of their last 12. And they are now tied with Carolina for second place with 36 points. I think Carolina has a tiebreaker, just like head-to-head, I think, matchup.
Who's in first place in the Metro?
The Devils. The Devils have 43 points. And that's insane that the Penguins are only 7 points back. Now, like how far ahead the Devils were.
Where's the Capitals at?
Capitals are... Oh, wow. They have 32 points there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are 6th.
Wow.
But I don't think they're going to be down there that long. I think they will eventually find themselves back into the playoffs. That team is just too good.
It would be very surprising to see them continue to play like this. And yes, absolutely.
And, especially if Ovi starts heating up and starts scoring the way we know he can score, and Oshie plays the way that we know Oshie can play, the team's they'll be fine.
Absolutely, man. It's a good team.
Yeah, you hate to see it. You hate to see when they start creeping up the standings.
Right.
But, it is what it is.
I think, Mike, we have a lot to go over. I say we just, go in for the heart here and get right into the Steeler game. Man.
Do we have to? I was actually, let's go. Let's do this. This is
the
why
funny thing about this game, Mike, the score, that final 16-14. I was going over our picks, and I you had played against the dummy last week, but I did also make my picks, and I did make my prediction and my tiebreaker and everything. I actually picked 16-15 is my final score.
Right?
So
you would have oddball score.
I would have still been 1 point over, the over and under.
You would have been close. You would have been close because I predicted a higher score, didn't I?
You had 23-20.
Yeah, I thought it would be a higher scoring game. I thought both quarterbacks. I thought Pickett and Huntley would have been like, what, screw it, man. Let's just see. These secondaries, they haven't been really playing that well. Let's just go at it. Well,
I for one could say, Mike, I don't know if I've ever seen a team try so hard to lose traction during a playoff run. And then there's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this Baltimore Ravens team, I don't know what to make of them, but obviously their big guy was not there, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That is the talk. Everybody knows that. However, you pull him from the game, you extract Lamar Jackson from the game. Now all of a sudden, this bad Pittsburgh Steeler team in this playoff team, this first place team, or in a game that Pittsburgh should have won.
No, I see. I disagree with that.
Okay, well let me get through.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I just want
to. Okay, and you lose 16-14. You have a field goal blocked. You throw 3 interceptions. So I think 3 turnovers and the blocked field goal. You could say that we could have probably scored at least 2 points off of those 4 different possessions.
Yeah.
Being that the field goal would have put us over, and we would have had the 1 point advantage. We don't know if that's how the game would have ended, but the score, in fact, would be 17-16 if.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, you take away 3 drives where 2 of them were in the red zone. One of them was the long ball he threw down the sideline. You're leaving so many points on the field, and when you lose a game of this caliber by 2 points, you probably should have won. Now, there's a lot of things that we did that says otherwise, and I agree with you. I think there's a lot of reasons why we shouldn't have won. But I think that for what it was, there's a lot of reasons that we should have won.
I say that reason why I thought we weren't going to win is the reason we didn't win. The run defense. That run defense was atrocious. Yeah, personally, Harvin had that horrendous 17-yard punt, but he wasn't the one out there who got blown up in the middle of that defensive line on that long run. And then he wasn't the one who got blown up on that next run for the touchdown. Okay, that front 7 was atrocious.
Now, you would like to expect your special teams to be kind of
better,
on.
a lot better than that. Yeah.
And it wasn't like we gave up we didn't give up any returns. We didn't give up anything like that. Our special teams broke down like this. There was a 17-yard punt, obviously, like you mentioned. There was the blocked field goal.
Yes.
And then there was also what I complain all the time about is that they say, and it's earlier in the season, it was different. There was different energy for some reason. They were trying to block field goals. They blocked field goals. The defensive field goal block team now just stands up and watches the play happen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people might say, well, they were on the field all day, but you know what? This is what you do. I mean, you're tired, then get somebody else in there who's going to do it. I can't stand to watch the defensive field goal block team just stand up when you have an opportunity to keep points off the scoreboard for the other team.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't maybe two drives later, we're kicking a field goal and they block it.
Yeah. Like I can extra points. I don't see any team ever try to block an extra point. If it happens, it happens. But like the field goals, yeah.
But extra points are, they're out to the 33-yard line. I mean, this is there's no
that
reason
one right there, though.
They should just stand up, and they've been doing it for weeks.
Yeah.
But here's the team.
Points,
Here's the teams that do it, and it works. Baltimore does things like this, and it works. And you watch highlights every week, and you see Baltimore causing problems, causing mistakes. You're not going to cause any problems or cause any mistakes or cause anything going to happen if you just stand straight up and watch the play happen.
Yeah. You
might as well not even be out there.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, if you're not going to do anything, you might as well not even be out there. Why are you there? These are these small things. The way they abandoned the run. They abandoned it. We was going good up until this week with the run game, with the line. We abandoned the run. I think Najee ended up for like 33 yards.
33 yards. My man barely played.
Right. And the other guys played even less. Benny and, all them guys. So here's something that really irked. It was the coaching. A lot of this game, I think, was the coaching too. Because you have a strong hand. Your running game has been working. We're running, we read the stats last week. We have we were in the top 5 rushing since the bye. Najee's up there. And they give him the ball 12 times for 33 yards. That's crazy to me. The dirty hit on Kenny Pickett.
What dirty hit?
When the guy grabbed his face mask.
He put his hand on the face mask.
You're not allowed to grasp.
You're not allowed to do that. You can put your hand like this. You can't grasp.
Not as you're shoving the guy's your head into the ground. You're not.
You're made of glass.
It doesn't matter. That's the rules. So that was a reason. I have nothing bad to say about Deontay Johnson this week. He did pull a couple of his backward runs early.
Yeah.
But as this game went on, and we attempted to get back, stay in this game, which we did. We stayed in this game very well for a team it's a playoff team. They should have handled us a little bit more than that because they had their backup. We had our backup really much. There shouldn't be that much of a difference. The offensive line, I thought, did well.
All except for that one play where Kenny got destroyed.
Right. And that, I mean,
that was like that right there was the most egregious. That was just terrible.
Let me continue. The defensive line did get blown off the ball all game. They were almost as invisible as the field goal blocking team.
I knew you were going to go off about the field goal shit today. I fucking love it.
It hurts because, like I said, here's this team. They're trying to convince everybody that they're we're trying to get back into it, and they are, by the way, still in the hunt at 5-8. They do find their way.
This shows you how bad the NFL is this year.
You aren't kidding. If this team that you watched yesterday is still, close enough that you could say that they have a chance, that's a good sign. This is a pretty, and you know what I think it is? It's a top heavy league anymore. You have those 2, 3, 4 teams up top, and then there's everybody else.
Everyone else.
And none of the, So, linebackers. Where was Alex Highsmith? Where was the All-Pro? Where was the guy that you've been urging me to vote for all week because he is the one guy who's being productive and you got to watch for because he has double-digit sacks? Where was Alex Highsmith?
Alex Highsmith was he was way down. He had 3 tackles somehow.
Okay. Um, the cornerbacks, they didn't hurt us in the passing game, obviously. Only 88 yards by Huntley, 16 yards by Brown. So that wasn't much of a chance
They did
to.
have like a couple of long plays where there's like a busted coverage. But
It was the one long run that really sticks out to me. That one
oh
was
god, that fucking one right up the middle. Yeah.
I mean, Dobbins 120 yards rushing.
Yeah. And this
They
is a dude who's been out for like 8 weeks.
they rushed at 215 yards as a team. 200, you give up 215 yards, and we've said this over and over. You're not going to win many games in the NFL.
No.
And for the safety position, Mike, I think that the safeties are making way too many tackles on guys that aren't receivers and tight ends.
Minka Fitzpatrick, 11 tackles. Edmonds, 9 tackles.
That's what I'm saying. 20 tackles.
Should not.
And they ran the ball most of the game. So you see what I'm saying? That means your linebackers, they're getting blown off the ball, and these guys have to make up for it.
Can I say something about the safeties real quick?
Yeah.
To me, the only player on this team on that field yesterday that is immune from criticism was Minka Fitzpatrick once again.
Yeah.
Who was the guy who stopped that long run that should have been a touchdown? Minka. Who's the one who stopped the run on 4th down? Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka was all over the place. Yeah, no turnovers because they weren't thrown to him. But my God, when you needed a key tackle, who was the only one there?
You're right.
Out of your highest paid defense in the league, you have the highest paid outside linebacker. You have one of the highest paid. I'm the greatest defensive lineman ever. And there's Minka, who doesn't say shit in the media. Just goes out there and does his job every fucking game. He's the only one on that team, in my eyes, that no criticism whatsoever. And Pickens.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I mean, Pickens had his 3 for 78. And here's the thing, Mike. We outscored them in touchdowns. They had 1 touchdown. So again, this isn't a team that we could have won this game.
We could have. We should have. Going in, I don't think we should have won, but watching the game, we should have won.
This should have been Kenny's interceptions because, listen, and you say, why do you sound positive when you say that? Well, because, listen, what we said going into this game was what, Mike? We said this game was going to be a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit of a higher caliber organization. So they're going to face some troubles, and Kenny may throw an interception. And I think you said multiple interceptions. I would have rather him been out there getting that valuable time, throwing interceptions, making mistakes, learning against a defense that's been a little bit better than what we've been playing, and we could have learned from it. Obviously going with Mitch, we had to do it. There's concussion protocol. There's not much you could do on that. But like I said, I think he stole his picks, and I think that kind of goes against our better interest because, like I said, you want Kenny throwing them balls down the field. I would have much rather Mitch go with the short style that they've been doing and continue to run the ball because running the ball is what's brought us success over the past month. I just don't, of course, you want to throw the ball downfield. Yes, absolutely. You have to throw the ball downfield, but I would have rather pulled Mitch back. Mitch goes 22 for 30. 276 yards, touchdown, 3 picks, but you can't abandon the run. If you could listen, the only way that you could abandon the run if the guy that you were bringing in was a quarterback that could move the ball. He would be an established quarterback. Somebody that could come in, control the game, bring you back, win this game. That wasn't the case. They aborted the run and continued to pass with Mitch Trubisky, who again, didn't have the best day ever, obviously. So there's things on many levels, Mike. I think that was the reasons that we lost, and there's little things here, little things there. Like I said, we're 2-point loss. You leave 24 points on the field with your turnovers and your blocked field goal. So that, I guess, you could chalk that up as signs of just a bad team, just not doing the right things and allowing the turnovers to happen and allowing that to be what ultimately beats you.
Well, so I want to talk about Mitch Trubisky here for a minute. Like, I texted you when he came in and he led that drive. I was like, finally, a real quarterback.
Yeah.
And I still believe that. Me. Because when he got in there, that offense after he said, fuck it, we're going deep to George on that first play. That set the tone. That showed a quarterback who has fucking balls. That is not afraid. That is not afraid to make a play. Not afraid to make a mistake. You're the first overall. You're the first quarterback taken in the draft. You're the 20th pick overall in Kenny Pickett. Your job is safe. You're not getting benched and you don't have the balls to throw deep. You don't have the balls to throw into double coverage. You're afraid to make a mistake. It's just like, fuck it, dude. Fuck it. I've already been benched.
You're
twice.
right, and Kenny does.
So I'm
Kenny
go
has
out
to
there,
learn how to say fuck it. You're absolutely right. I couldn't
go
agree
out there,
more.
and that team responded. And I tell you what, though, Mitch, he said it in his interviews. He went pick by pick by pick what happened. He's like, hey, that first one, the defense had a great jam on Muth. I thought the play would be there. I thought, he recovered fast enough. And he's like, that's on me. I look back to him. I should have looked off. People want to blame Sims. Sims was in the right spot. The timing was just off. Hey, that's me. And he's like, the second one, hey, I want to go to Muth again in the middle of the field. It was there. I forgot to look off the defender. And he's like, that second one, guys, hey, it was a 2-route play. I wanted to go to deep Deontay. I wanted to reward him. I wanted to get that touchdown. I just overthrew it.
Listen.
This is a quarterback who knows why he made those mistakes. He's admitting to it. So he knows, okay, I'm going to not be as he's not going to be as aggressive. But no, this is a mature quarterback going, hey, I fucked up.
He should be.
He's being a leader. He's going out there saying, hey, I fucked up. I took these chances, and I'm going to do it better. I'm going to do it better next time. He's like, I'm going to do it better next time.
Okay,
and he's not afraid. He's not afraid. He wasn't scrambling out of the pocket.
You're right.
We saw Kenny had happy.
Unafraid, he will be better because when he was unafraid,
Kenny Pickett will not be better. Kenny Pickett will never be any better than what he is right now.
Crazy. A month ago, you said the same thing, and he got better. So
he's scared in the pocket. Those 2 runs Kenny had in the first quarter before he got hurt, he should not have ran. He had time in the pocket.
He got first downs. What do you?
But he was afraid. He was afraid, and there was no rush there. He's seeing ghosts and hearing footsteps.
He got a first down. That's a productive.
Yes, that's awesome. But
the other guy who threw 300, Mitchell 3 picks.
Stay in the pocket. Try and make a play with your arm. There was no pass rush. He ran into it. He ran into pressure that should not have been there. Like Mitch Trubisky.
You don't think Mitch made mistakes in his rookie year?
Yeah. But Mitch wasn't a 24-year-old quarterback who played 55 quarters in college who should have come in with
a Heisman candidate, no less.
Yeah, he should have come in with ready-to-play experience.
Okay, with that, in a perfect world, yes.
But anyway,
football as much as I do.
Let's move on.
But you know football as much as I do. And it's not a perfect sport. Listen.
But we had a quarterback finally who was not afraid.
Mitchell 3 picks. Yeah. That was
better than Kenny 8 picks. And Kenny, we have to invent first downs. Kenny looked good.
Kenny was looking good, and then he gets his head slammed to the turf, and then Mitchell 3 picks comes in.
Kenny was looking
afraid. Like he was gaining yards. That's positive.
He was afraid. He ran out. There was no pressure, and he rolled into. He had no reason
to. Listen,
styles to run like a little baby. But anyway,
he's mobile. Yes. Correct. That's what running quarterbacks do. Yes.
Run like a little baby. Okay. That's awesome.
That literally makes no sense. What does the little baby? I don't get it.
There was no pressure.
So he takes off and gains a first down, and that's bad?
Because there was no pressure. This is a sign. What I'm saying is, this is a sign
of what he could have got a first down.
This is what he's been doing for multiple games in a row. When there's no pressure there, he just takes off, or he runs into pressure.
Interceptions.
He has no pocket presence.
After we went a month without any turnovers, I would
you've been talking over me this entire time. I did not talk over you once, but all right, cool.
You did because you did. If we go back, I can show you where you did.
Yeah, I said,
it's not even a point to me. I'm just.
But I'm talking about Kenny, and you have to jump in immediately. You got afraid. You got afraid for Kenny. Just like Kenny's
Mike,
afraid.
we talk to each other on the show every day. What are you talking about? I jump in on everything.
Mike, let me go back to the defensive line. What the hell was Cam Hayward doing all game other than ripping his helmet off and trying to cause a fight after Minka comes up and stuffs the guy on 4th and 1? Why is Cam Hayward out there pushing players, helmet half off, jawing, this close to getting a personal foul to give them a first down? What? That's our team leader?
Oh, he's a bum. This guy's a bum.
That's the leadership we're looking for, is from this guy out there trying to cause a fight. Brilliant. I can't wait until he is gone.
We also
linebackers. You asked where Highsmith was. Where's TJ Watt? He had that one sack, but he was inconsequential the entire game. One-on-one blocking again all game long.
I like that hit on their quarterback, the one that took out Huntley. That was a clean hit. I think it was a Minka hit.
Yeah,
That took Huntley. That was a beautiful hit.
that was a beautiful hit.
That was a
Led with the
Steeler Ravens
shoulder.
hit right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We are still fighting, Mike. We are fighting for a 500.
Oh, I thought you and I were still fighting. I was like, we weren't fighting. We were having a heated
Oh,
debate.
P, what's up, P in the house? Roids are a hell of a drug. Yes. Ask Dwayne Johnson. I think he's been catching some heat lately from the Rogan.
He ain't natty.
No, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no. Mike, but
the Rock is not natty.
We are fighting. We're fighting for a 500 spot, Mike. And I could
It's not
assure
gonna
you,
happen.
I could assure you that week 17 against the Ravens in Baltimore is going to be 150 times different than the way that this game went.
Yeah. Lamar's going to run for 400 yards that game.
Absolutely. It's not going to be pretty. We had more yards. We had 329 yards. The Baltimore Ravens had 309. We had 264 yards passing. They had 94. They had 215 yards rushing. We had 65.
Yes.
Mike, first downs, we actually led. We had 23. They had 18, and 3 punts each. So I mean, it's a pretty equal game. And then when it comes down to the time of possession, they were 32-59. We were 27-01. So I mean, you're basically cut down the middle. Like I said, this game should have been more lopsided in their favor because we're a bad team with our backup quarterback.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a division leading team looking for that playoff spot, and take away your quarterback. You are now in the trenches. Almost could have very well lost a game to a very bad football team. So I look for this game on week 17 to be a lot different. They're going to come out. They're going to prove a point. They're going to fine tune for the playoffs. So enjoy Carolina, enjoy Las Vegas, because that next Ravens game is going to be a massacre.
It's going to be brutal. And this was a typical Steelers Ravens game. You know, it decided really by 2 points. By 2 points. And I feel Baltimore played down to the level of their competition.
Absolutely.
And like, even with Huntley in there, I thought he would have been performed a lot better. But their rushing game, like, they should have not thrown the ball at all. Just run the damn ball.
Yeah.
We can't stop the run.
We cannot stop the run at all.
They can stop the run, but
Mike, they ran for over 250. And here's the thing: they ran for 215 yards with no Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's
he's usually the majority of their rushing yards.
Imagine if he was playing, and
they would have had 500 yards.
And they barely targeted Mark Andrews, their tight end.
You're right. I can remember one play.
Catches 17 yards. I totally forgot he was out there.
How many catches does he have?
2 for 17.
Yeah, I can remember one.
Yeah, me too. He's one of the better tight ends in the league.
Robinson led the way for their receivers with 5 catches, 52 yards. Yeah. Our receivers look like this. Deontay, I liked Deontay yesterday. I had nothing to say. Early on, I was ready to fucking kill him with the running backwards. But you know what? As the game went on, he was making clutch plays that he usually misses out on. And that's what we complain about, is him not coming through in a clutch. He came through in a clutch. I have nothing bad to say about him. However, these other 2 schlubs, Sims and Gunner.
Okay, I thought you were going to throw George in there. I was ready to drive over to the studio and throw.
Are just you're not going to do anything productive with them. I tell you what, Gunner is not as something. I thought he was going to be one of these New England projects that comes from the Patriots, and he just is able to make. He's done nothing. This guy's done nothing, and Sims is doing close to nothing. Every once in a while, he makes a little bit of headway for himself, but those 2 guys are worthless in the passing game. Pickens goes 3 for 78. He has a nice game. And Muth with 3 catches, 33 yards, and 1 touchdown. I never have once said anything bad about Muth since he's been here.
I have. He had that key fumble. He had that key fumble last year in overtime when him and Deontay were trying to fumble the game away.
Yeah, that was
to Detroit. So that kind of pissed me off. But I'm still a Muth guy, Penn State fan. I like him. He's legit. But speaking about the wide receiver core, do not be surprised if the Steelers use one of their I'm not going to say first, maybe one of their seconds or their 3rd round pick on a wide receiver, because Pittsburgh finds a way to always unearth a good wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah. So we're 5-8. Carolina Panthers are 5-8, and the Carolina Panthers, Mike, they actually came off their best game of the year.
I heard. I didn't follow any of the scores yesterday. I get to work. The dude was like, "Did you see the Panthers?" I'm like, "Did they win?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, holy shit!
Now the Panthers, they did win. They won 30-24, and the announcers were going on and on and on about how this was the best game they played all season. I'm thinking, no, that's just fucking wonderful. We get the good Panthers.
Yeah, right. But I don't know, man. You know, Sam Darnold was only averaging 5 yards per throw or completion.
Yeah.
But like, hey, don't worry. Come play Pittsburgh, man. We'll all,
All
whatever
right.
ails you will be healed. They did run the ball for 223 yards, so that is a bit concerning.
Here's what we're gonna do. We are at the halfway point, Mike. I'm gonna go around the horn from the through the positions from quarterback to coach. I'm gonna give you the position. You give me one word to describe that player to you in yesterday's game. Okay.
All right.
So the first one has two different players, quarterback position. Mine would be dirty hit. Kenny didn't get a chance to play. And Mitch, like I said, I think that they played him they were a little too confident in Mitch yesterday. They should have ran the ball more. But if one word, quarterback was blah.
I'm going to go with, that's going to be too overly aggressive.
Okay, yeah.
I thought Mitch with his throws was overly aggressive, and I think
Yes.
Kenny with his running was overly aggressive too. I thought on those two runs that he had time in the pocket, could have waited maybe a half second more for a receiver to get open. But I was stirring shit earlier, but I do understand why he ran in. Fuck yeah. Was I jazzed when he got those first downs? Yes, I was.
Yeah.
Am I a hypocrite? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, why not? Everybody is. All right, Mike. Running back. My word is abandoned. The running back position was abandoned yesterday.
I'm gonna go with forgotten. They were forgotten.
If I was Mike Tomlin, I would have walked over and I would have walked off the field, would have went up the steps, up the escalator, and I would have went and slapped what's her face in the back of the head.
Baltimore, they do have a pretty damn good run defense, but you have to be balanced. We were getting some runs here and there, but just be honest, with the run game.
Yeah. I mean, a game where they put up 215, we put up 65.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Tight end, star. My word about Muth, he is a star. He's growing. He's budding. In the league, everybody will know about Pat Freiermuth within the next year. He's going to be one of the better tight ends in the league. I say he is a star.
He is a star, and I'm going to go with dependable. That group has been very dependable this year when their number has been called.
Speaking of that group, I would have loved to see Gentry get in there as the third string quarterback.
You know what? I was like, I don't want any player to ever get hurt, but maybe a little injured, Mitch just rolls his ankle, he's out for a series or two. We just have Gentry in there just handing the ball off.
Yeah.
I take that.
Wide receivers, Mike. I thought they played well. I mean, it wasn't a great game, but they played well. I mean, I'm sure it was out of the norm to have long balls thrown to them down the sideline, so that had to be a blast. I thought they played well.
They did play well. Deontay and Pickens, they showed their potential. Yeah. Playmakers is what those two are.
I'd like to see Deontay be a little bit more.
Yeah, because we saw that he had stretches where when he had Ben with him, man, he was making those catches. You're like, this guy's like Antonio Brown. Those beautiful routes, those nice catches on the sidelines. But then where'd your hands go, buddy? Where'd your hands go?
Yeah, he's like Ike Taylor.
Exactly, and that's not a good thing.
Mike, the offensive line.
Oh, inconsistent. Because that block with Cole and who was I forget which guard it was. I can't remember his right side, left side, and they just it seems like they high-fived each other and let Queen come right up the middle, and it's like, come on, guys, you just one of you pick him up, both of you pick him up, something. The run blocking was not there. Pass blocking, other than that one, was damn good. They gave the guys time in the pocket.
Here's my thing. I think they abandoned the run too early because they're playing the Ravens, and you could kick. You have to keep on running the ball. Thank you. And like I said, because there was resistance, because it was the Ravens' run defense, because they have been a little bit hard harder, solid than the
Mm-hmm.
defense that we've been facing on the run where we've been successful, that doesn't mean you abandon it. I think that means that you have to keep plowing more at it,
Mm-hmm.
because you're eventually going to wear a
Yeah.
guy down, especially the weather's cooler now. I mean, this is big grown
Yeah.
men running into you over and over and over. Your body's eventually going to take the toll, and it's going to take a toll on your body. So I think that you can't abandon the run. I don't know what the game plan, what the strategy
Like
was going into the game yesterday. I don't know if they planned on abandoning the run, if Kenny would have still been in there. I don't know what they were thinking, but I don't like
I
the game
think
plan that they used yesterday. I think they could have won
I
this
think
game.
that just because the way the Baltimore secondary has been lax this year has not been their normal secondary. They thought, all right, we can do something here, but their Baltimore's middle linebackers, Roquan Smith and Queen, they stepped up big time in the
And you know
pass
what? Here's another
defense,
thing. For all the
and like that's where a lot of their two interceptions were two out of the three interceptions were from their middle linebackers. Their middle linebackers played excellent in pass coverage. So I don't think they were ready for those two to drop back in coverage as much as they did.
um
Not studying Baltimore, not watching a lot of their games outside of Pittsburgh. Normally, your middle linebackers they're blitzing or one.
their
Yeah.
defense should be better, in my opinion. You bring in Roquan
Mm-hmm.
Smith, you bring over Justin Houston, you bring in Pierre Paul, whatever
Yeah.
his name is, the guy with 9 fingers. um Patrick
Yeah.
Queen. I would expect this
Marlon,
defense to be pretty
yeah.
shut down.
But they've been
You
banged
know,
up
and,
and
and
they're coming into form.
And we were able to put up 329 yards with a not so great performing team, a not so
Yeah.
great game plan and a backup quarterback. I just think that defense should be a lot better than what they are. You're spending the money for the guys.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But when things come together, I'm sure they
Oh
will play
yeah.
better. And like I said, in week 17, when Lamar's there, I'm sure the defense is going to be hitting
Yeah.
on all cylinders too, and it's going to be ugly. Mike, defensive line.
What? Who's this defensive line you speak of? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
One word: terrible. They were terrible.
Really bad. Absolutely.
Like even like Ogunjobi. Wormley had that sack, I believe, or key stuff.
I like the
Yeah, that
dance.
little,
Did you see the Wormley
little wiggle.
dance? Yeah.
I just no, they were just terrible, man. You give up 260 some odd yards rushing, you were terrible. Front seven, it was just they were terrible.
It's not going to be a good game when the two safeties are making all your tackles in the run game. That's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Which takes me to the linebackers. I thought the linebackers were fair at best. I thought that Miles Jack was all over the place. I lost track of Bush.
Bush lost track of himself.
I lost track of TJ, and I also lost track of Alex Highsmith. You can't lose track of 3 of your linebackers. I've heard one name. I've seen one face on TV most of the game, and it was Miles Jack. As far as the linebackers go,
all over the place.
Those guys need to be a little bit more productive and stopping that run because it just
like TJ Watt had a sack. It was a key sack. Don't get me wrong, but outside of that, he was invisible. He didn't affect the game any. Highsmith was terrible. Jack was all over the place. Poor Devin Bush, man. He, for some reason, he's getting all the blame for Baltimore running all over us. When you're front 3 and the 3-4 in the run game, your main assignment is to eat up the blockers. They did not eat up the blockers, and you're letting these big pulling guards get up onto your middle linebackers. You can't have. There's not much you can do. And Devin Bush, he did not play a good game. There's times he had free shots at people and just stopped running and braced for the hit.
Yeah.
He was, showing signs. He showed flashes this year, but I think this is going to be his last year in Pittsburgh. Wish him well in his future endeavors. But yeah, that whole linebacking core is just atrocious yesterday.
The only one positions that I did not have an opinion, Mike, one word. I have one word here for everything except for the cornerbacks. Now, the cornerbacks, they obviously, if it was a different quarterback, we would have a different opinion on this. But like I said, Mike, the starter went for 88 yards. The backup went for 16 yards. The top receiver, his receiving yards was 52. This was not the problem. The cornerbacks were not the problem. The receivers were not the problem. It was the running game and the lack thereof. I don't even have a word for the corners. They were that non-existent. But you know what? They came through in the times that they did need to come through.
They did have a 23-yard and a 25-yarder. One of them was a miscommunication. It was someone thought you're taking this guy, I'm taking that guy. They both took the one guy, and Deshaun Jackson ran free for that 25-yarder. But outside of that, they held everyone. They held everyone in check. Those big plays really did not contribute to the loss. So I'm gonna go with it's like an incomplete grade because they didn't affect the game negatively, positively. They were there.
That's what I'm saying.
They got the participation trophy. Cam Sutton though, he did have some nice tackles. He was there when needed. So.
Like the safety spot, I think the safeties are shining this year. The one that's a little bit more obvious, obviously, would be Minka Fitzpatrick, but we all know the pretty above average run stopper out there, and Terrell Edmonds. I think the safeties both get passing grades and get loose through the air, and these guys contributed to actually helping the run defense, trying to stop them guys. So I give these, like I said, Mike, it's not a bad graded day. It's not a bad graded day. There was just
on defense, it's very there were some.
Well, the line absolutely, and the linebackers would be the lower end of our grading. But overall, this team. Let me go special teams.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Fuck
there.
Them kids, man. It was just terrible.
And I don't want to get into a conversation or a debate about our coach. I just think that we got out.
It was a bad
areas.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could agree on that. Okay.
But once again, team did not quit. They did not quit. I give them credit for that. They don't quit. Yeah. But it's just it was just a bad day. Shit.
Because you get a bunch of guys from Alabama.
Shit happens.
You get a bunch of guys from Alabama. You got Minka, you got Najee. I don't know if we have anybody, but once you start getting guys from these bigger schools, these bigger colleges, these more successful colleges, I feel more comfortable with these guys. These guys were always good football players because that's how they got to where they were, was being the best. You don't go to Alabama unless you're the best. And I feel comfortable with Najee. I feel comfortable with Minka.
Yeah.
I like having the bad. We that's the thing. We didn't used to always go to these big schools. We would draft, players situationally, obviously, but I always like you get these guys from Alabama. I feel confident. I like I said, I love what Minka's doing, and Najee has mad potential with the good blocking. I think that he's a whole different player.
I still want to know how ESPN in their analytics said Minka Fitzpatrick's overrated. Tell me how. Put on the game film and tell me how he is overrated.
Mike, I actually have a statistic here for you. Minka's 15 interceptions are tied for fifth most in the NFL since the start of the 2019 season. You're not going to find many more guys. And
he's overrated. He's, as a safety, 15, he's overrated.
Yeah, so
I don't get it. You can make there's lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Well, here's one for you, Mike. One other statistic I got as well, and I don't know if this is real. I kind of questioned it at first because I don't have the statistics to this point. But hear me out. Somebody actually wrote Mitch was 16 for 19 for 189 yards at one point, and the 3 incomplete passes were interceptions. Is that true?
Yes, wow. That is true. That is true.
Has that ever happened? 16 for 19 and the 3 incomplete passes were
my dad. I'm like, yo, Mitch is perfect, man. Every pass has been caught. I'm sorry. How can this season? How can fans be pissed?
I know
and angry. Like you lose your Hall of Fame quarterback. Of course, quarterback play is going to drop. You sign Mitch Trubisky. You draft Kenny Pickett,
and you have a guy that's already been there for 8 seasons in the third string quarterback.
But apparently though, in all through camp and practices, at least according to Mark Caboli, my boy Mark Caboli over at the Atlantic, that Mason Rudolph was actually the better performing player in the best performing player all through the whole process, and he just has that unfortunate stigma from getting Myles Garrett beating his head in. Like a whack-a-mole.
In that play, Mike, I am not going to obviously go on about this, but that's got to be one of the most fucked up plays that's ever happened in the NFL. I mean,
I've never seen anything like it in any sport.
Let me say somebody tore off Tom Brady's helmet and started beating him over the head with it. They got to be arrested.
You wouldn't be playing in the league. You wouldn't be playing in the league anymore. But
I never liked that plan. It's funny, we go back and forth with people from Cleveland about it, but I thought that's one of the dirtiest fucking plays I've ever seen. And Myles Garrett comes out of it looking like a fucking superstar,
Yeah, it's something that you've always wanted to see happen, but then you see it happen, you're like, ugh, maybe I don't want to see that happen.
Mike, we do have to hop over to the picks. We got a funny situation here. You know about it. We talked a little bit over via text.
That dummy.
Now, you last week for your birthday, You took on the dummy, my dummy here at the studio. So you picked against the dummy.
Yes.
And I'm just going to tell you the score up front. We'll go through the games real quick here, but you were winning 5 games to 4. If you recall, we had 10 different games we were head to head on. One that we didn't was the a Steeler game and somebody else. But
the Steeler game was different.
No, I picked the Steelers.
No,
dummy picked the Ravens.
We both picked the Ravens, right?
Dummy picked the Ravens, yeah.
Yeah. The dummy knew what was up.
So you were up 4 games to 5 now. With tonight's game between the Patriots and the Cardinals being the big decider, you have the Cardinals. I have the Patriots. Now,
the decider is George Bush out there.
So here's the thing:
I'm the decider.
If the Patriots win, if the Cardinals win, it's over. You win.
Fucking Kyler Murray, come on, bro.
6-4, you win. But if the Patriots win, it'll come down to a tiebreaker, which we have to pick our tiebreaker score for this game tonight. That would be if the Patriots win, then you still have a chance because of your tiebreaker. But so you have a couple chances to win. I have one chance to win. You can either win outright, the Cardinals win, or the Patriots win and you get the tiebreaker. So we'll come back to the tiebreaker in a moment. Let's go through the scores that we do have, Mike. The Minnesota Vikings and the Lions. This is a game that I was intrigued about.
Who would have thought?
Dummy thought, because Dummy picked the Lions in this one.
Yeah, because he's a fucking dumbass.
But it was a hell of a game. I'm starting to really like what Detroit's doing. They are a draft away from being a competitor in this league. I look for Detroit to be, unless they pull one of their things where it was a fluke season and they just drop. I could see this team being
Dan Campbell is the modern. He's coming into like the modern day Bill Cowher.
I love him. You hate him.
Bill Cowher mixed with like Bill Parcells mixed with like crack cocaine, because this dude is off the fucking walls. I don't know what sayings he comes up with, where he gets them from. Dude's a nut, and they seem to respond to him, and it's fun to watch. I thought this guy was a joke, but I'm starting to believe him. Would I want to ever work for him or have him be my coach? No.
He's definitely doing good things up there, man.
Good things, man. If they had a different ownership group, I think this team would be a whole hell of a lot better.
The Steelers and the Ravens, obviously, we've been going on and on about that game. The final count on that was the Ravens 16, Pittsburgh 14.
Well, the good thing about the game is I picked correctly.
You did pick correctly. The next game, Mike, also AFC North. We have the Browns and the Bengals. I was hoping the Browns could give a little bit better of a fight than that. The Bengals end up winning 23-10. Not much changed in the statistics in the standings besides for us and Cleveland dropping one game further back. AFC East showdown between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Mike, that was, that's a game that looks closer than it was. The final count on that was 20-12. It really didn't look like the Jets ever really had a chance in that game. But
Mike White, did you hear about him?
No.
He got hurt, hit in the ribs, went in, had rib x-rays, came out and played, dogged it out the game. And he went to the hospital for like internal injuries. My man was beat the fuck up and still balled out hard.
That sounds like what happened when we played Aliquippa. I remember I was telling you about the kid that got our quarterback. That got his. Yeah, that's what that sounds like.
Oh, real quick, Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 119 yards. Yeah, he's back, and the Bengals are heating up. Look out.
The Houston Texans and at the Cowboys. Boy, this game was a lot scarier than I think a lot of people in
I thought
Texas
we were going to lose
across the land would have thought. The Cowboys only won 27-23. The Texans were ahead most of the game. Mike, the dummy did pick the Texans, and he lost out on that one. But most of the time I was score watching during the game, they was winning, and I was a little bit surprised.
I was very nervous when I saw this one. I'm like, am I going to lose to the dummy because of this fucking game right here?
No, nobody picked, Mike. Nobody picked the Eagles for whatever reason. The Eagles beat the Giants.
Yeah, we were thinking upset special.
Both of the dummies picked the Giants in this game, and the Eagles win 48-22. AFC South showdown, Mike. The Jaguars and the Titans. Another one that the dummy got an advantage on. He takes the Jaguars, who win 36-22 over the Titans. Trevor Lawrence is a beast. You can never really count him.
I discount him, and then boom, he comes out. This fucker.
I like him. He's gonna get a lot of stats in his career. I don't know if he's gonna win many championships. Just depends on what he does with his teams. He's gonna do well with stats. Mike, big game. Not so much, but the Chiefs and Broncos game, now it was 34-28. At one point, I mean, it was like a blowout. It was 21-0, something like that with the Chiefs. I stopped paying attention. Somehow they ended up pulling it within 6 points. The Denver Broncos, the lowly Denver Broncos, only lose by 6 to the Chiefs, 34-28.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Mahomes, 3-3. That was a bit surprising.
Yes. The Panthers in Seattle. Mike, you would take the Seahawks, and Dummy took
you,
the Panthers. That was actually a crazy game. Everybody in the league talking about how that was or everybody that was on the announcers were saying how good the Panthers looked. This was the best performance they had all year, and just of course, it's the week right before we play them.
Of course.
Mike, so we're gonna hopefully get a Panthers team that wasn't as good as they were yesterday because they beat Geno Smith and the Seahawks 30-24. The following game, Mike, the 49ers and Buccaneers. 49ers win 35-7. I don't think there was ever any doubt about it. Christian McCaffrey's a beast. This team's a
Brock motherfucking Purdy.
16 of 21, Purdy.
16 of 21, 185 and 2 touchdowns. Outperformed Tom Brady. Mr. Irrelevant is gonna be the next superstar quarterback that was drafted way late in the draft.
And finally, Mike, the last game of the night that came down to, I texted you. I told you the situation. I said, if the Chargers win this game, because Dummy picked the Chargers and Mike picked the Dolphins, I said, this is going to get stretched over to Monday night. So, Mike, 23-17 with the final count on that. The Chargers win that game. Somehow, I watched the entire game. Herbert had a career night, this guy. He's one great quarterback, Mikey.
No. He's just a social media quarterback. He's only good because social media says he's good.
And here's the thing about him. He's going to be another one. It just all depends where he decides to go with his career. If he stays in on the Chargers, I don't really see great things happening.
Leave the Chargers.
Yes, get out of town. Leave now. Don't pass go. Just get the fuck out.
Come to Pittsburgh.
Oh, please. That'd be fucking wonderful.
You've been turning your Kenny Pickett fan club card on that one.
No, I love Kenny, but you know what? Herbert is going to be a badass dude.
He's going to be so much.
And the Chargers did win that, Mike, 23-17. So it does come to
one time I don't pick the Chargers, they come back and fuck me in the ass. Don't even buy me.
And you know what? Their defense was unbelievable. Everybody kept saying during the game how they're just so surprised how San Diego's defense came out and was able to stop Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins, and they did. It was actually really fun to watch. The Dolphins' 2 touchdowns came kind of on broke plays. One was a fumble.
Yeah, Tyreek recovered the fumble.
Tyreek picked it up and ran, and another one was a Tyreek catch, but there was a blown coverage because the whistle blew. Guys stopped covering for whatever reason. He still continued his pattern. He got hit down the sideline, scored a touchdown. So Miami didn't have a great game. It was like I said,
Tua looked terrible.
Yes. So Mike, the Dummy has the Patriots. Mike has the Cardinals. Tonight, if the Cardinals win, Mike does take the crown. If the Patriots win, Dummy does not get the crown just yet. Because if the Patriots win, then it's going to come down to a tiebreaker, Mike. So we do have to do that now. We have to decide what amount of points you think the total is going to be for this game tonight. Now, here's the thing. You got to get closest without going over. Once you go over, you are eliminated. Here's the second part of it. If both players are eliminated, it comes down to a coin toss on tomorrow's show. It's that plain, that simple.
I'm going to lose the coin toss to a fucking dummy.
You may lose the coin toss to the dummy. So let's try to prevent that from happening. And let's take a pick, Mike. I'm gonna talk to the dummy while you do your thing, and I'm gonna get an answer, and you give me an answer as well.
All right. So I don't think there has any double XP weekends going on unless Kyler Murray has his tokens saved up that he earned in the battle pass. I don't think he should have been grinding. He should have all his weapons at gold, at least gold, maybe diamond now, platinum. I forget what all the classifications are. I'm going to go a grand total of, I'm taking the over. There's 43.5 the over under. I'm thinking there's going to be like 45 points scored total. I think this is going to be a barn burner of a game.
Okay. So you're going to say
both teams are giving up over 100 yards rushing. Both teams over 230 yards passing. 330 yards. Patriots are giving up 370 for the Cardinals. It's going to be a high scoring game.
Okay. So you say, Mike, it's going to be
45 points.
45 points. You went 43 points on your Steeler prediction. You're going 45 points.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not doing too well here.
Now, Dummy over here, told me to go 32 points, Mike. So 32 is the Dummy's pick.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to lose the Dummy on this.
Well, no, not necessarily. Here's the thing: the Cardinals win, it's over. There's no need for the
Yeah, I know. But
and then if
Mac
it
Jones is
passed,
going to come back and fucking screw me. I feel it in my soul.
Hey, just think this: you only lost to an inanimate object. It isn't like you actually lost to a person that could,
Ever
So
since you started taking this shit seriously, man, I've been losing.
you've been down on your luck.
I have been. I mean, look at my hairline gone.
Okay, so we have all that situation taken care of. Just for everything to be clear, Mike, you are 4 games. You're up 5 games to 4. It comes down to the Patriots at the Cardinals tonight. Cardinals win, you win on the spot. Patriots win, it comes down to the amount of points. Mike chose 45 points. The dummy chose 32 points. Tomorrow, if that still ends up at a tie, we will flip a coin and decide who is this week's picks champion. Mike, dummy, I wish both you dummies good luck. Let's hop back over, Mike. I got like 3 quick things I want to talk about in sports, and then we'll get into our trivia. This week's flying, or this day's flying. I certainly didn't mean to keep you hanging around. P, I did want to mention a few things to you. So real quick for P, soccer's down to the Final Four on Tuesday at 2:00. Everybody, we have Argentina at Croatia.
Argentina, baby.
You like Argentina in that one?
I want Argentina, yes.
And also for UP, France versus Morocco. Now that is Wednesday at 2:00. So tomorrow at 2:00, Argentina at Croatia, and Wednesday, France versus Morocco at 2:00.
Morocco, the Cinderella, knocked off Spain, knocked off Portugal, trying to knock off France. I think
Europe out. Morocco's taking Europe out.
They are. I think Northern Africa was like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah, Northern Africa's kicking ass.
I'm going to go with France, but I am rooting for Morocco. I do love to see a Cinderella story come out of nowhere.
And when you are ready to watch the result of these 2 games, that'll be Saturday, 10:00 a.m. The championship soccer game will be Saturday, and it will be 2 of the 4 teams that include Argentina, Croatia, France, and Morocco.
There's also the third place game.
And the third place game. Tell me a little bit about that, Mike.
Third place, the losers of the semifinals play each other for see who gets third place.
I like it.
And it's the day before. Yeah, I like it too. That way everyone's settled in right where they need to be. Yeah. I like it. It gives, these 2 teams that made the semifinals who lost, that added incentive to like, hey, third place is better than 4th or not making it into the knockout stage. Yeah, it's a nice little consolation prize.
Absolutely. So there you go. We do have an extra game that I was unaware about.
Yeah, I always forget about it every year. I'm like, wait, is this the final? I'm like, oh no.
3 quick things. Congratulations and good luck to the Pitt's women volleyball team. They did advance to the Final Four again. They play on December 15th. The number 2 seed in that part of the bracket, Pitt, against number 1 seed Louisville. That is 9:30 on Tuesday. And then 7:00 on Tuesday, I should have told you this one first, is San Diego versus Texas. They're also a 1 and 2. That game is at 7 p.m. So if you were following, which we are following because our girls are in it, the women's team from Pitt, they're in the Final Four volleyball. 14 is Pitt versus Louisville, San Diego versus Texas. That all comes on December 15th. I believe that's Thursday, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, Mike, the Caleb Williams wins the Heisman Trophy.
Yes, he did.
I'm happy that he did it because I think he got screwed out of the playoffs because of the championship game situation. Yep. Other teams didn't need to play. He did need to play. They took the loss. The other teams get in. I don't care for that. So, congratulations.
I do Caleb like his
Williams.
I think
go ahead.
His comment of, you guys are all in the playoffs. I won the Heisman. I guess you can't win them all. And I think that was I don't know if that was a backhanded slap to the
absolutely
to the bowl committee or whatever it is, and it should have been because him and USC got screwed over for actually winning their conference, whereas Ohio State did not win their conference.
Finally, you're right. Finally, Antonio Brown appears to taunt Tom Brady on the 8th day of his standoff with the police. Tom Brady is still. Antonio Brown is still in this kind of weird standoff with the police. And in the meantime, he's putting pictures of him and Giselle laying in bed with no shirts on up on his social media. I don't know if it was him. I don't know if it was photoshopped or if it was her, but this is what he's doing.
I saw that.
in the time while being in a standoff situation with the police. This guy's nuts. He's eventually going to get thrown away and wish that he quit fucking around because
Right?
he just
Like
goes a
if
little
this
too
was
far.
if this was not a famous person, this standoff would have ended a long time ago.
They would have shot the guy in the head, and that's the reason why they're not shooting
SWAT,
him.
Or the SWAT team going into the wrong house.
Yeah. And the only reason they're not being aggressive with him is because they know everybody's watching. You know what I'm saying? So the police are like, oh, we're keeping our hands clean on this.
Yep, we're doing right here. We're doing right here. But if it was like me or you, they kicked in the neighbor's house, shot the neighbor's dog.
Well, here's the thing: if it was me or you, we'd be nervous, and I'd be trying to get something figured out. No, he's tweeting pictures of him and a chick.
Right? That just to have that level of I don't give a fuck about anything. I wish I had that. I wish I had that.
All right, Mike. So we are down to the very last segment of the show. This is the Carolina Panthers week of how well do we know our enemies? Of course, because Carolina is who the Steelers are playing this week in Carolina. Both teams sitting at 5-8. But the thing right now, Mike, is the trivia of the day, which is it's gonna be a Carolina Panther trivia question.
Cam Newton.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready. About as ready.
Now this, Mike, I thought this was kind of a fun question. I don't really expect you to know it, but I did want to ask it because I thought this was interesting, and I do remember this now that I read it and talking about it. But
okay,
you ready to give it a go?
I'm ready.
All right, so here we go. How many coin tosses did the Carolina Panthers infamously lose in a row during the 2012 season? And I remember this now because I remember it being a thing and it went on and they brought it up every week. So let me one more time. How many coin tosses did the Carolina Panthers infamously lose in a row during the 2012 season? Let me get a little music here. Go.
Oh,
again,
wow.
This is going to be a guess. There's no way of you
I forgot about this one, to be honest with you.
I remember it happening. I don't know if I even remembered the numbers shortly beyond the period of time that it happened, but I do recall this. And it's, like I said, I kind of wanted to just bring it up. It's pretty wild.
Oh, God. Shit. I don't know.
Well, you got to figure it's going to be somewhere between 1 and 16.
That narrows it down. I know that's what I was saying. It's got to be.
You figured it ain't going to be 1.
It has to be like less than 7 and more than 8. I think I'm going to go with 15.
15.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
okay. Let me lock you in.
Firehead.
All right, Mike is locked in with 15. And you remember they played 16 games, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So here's the question one more time. How many coin tosses did the Carolina Panthers infamously lose in a row during the 2012 season? Mike says 15.
Give it to me.
Okay, so you get the degrading buzzer, but that I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't let that get to you. This was a pure guess. Mike, it was 13. 13 games in a row. They lost the coin toss. You say some teams just have bad luck. That is bad luck.
That's bad luck right there.
You can't chalk it up as anything besides bad luck.
Law of averages. You had to have won one before that.
Yes.
Even if you just go out saying like tails for 13 fucking games in a row, you should have won one.
That's what they probably tried to. Yeah, they probably tried flip flop and just stick with one thing.
Tails never fails because you're bound to hit.
Mike, would you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
TwoDumbYinzers.com. Head on over there. Everything Two Dumb Yinzers. It's pretty cool. Once you get in, TwoDumbYinzers.com. Boom. First thing is right there is the most recent episode, so you don't have to go scrolling around everywhere to find it. And then we have links to Spotify. We have links to Anchor. We have a merchandise store. We have our email on there. We have everything, like all of our social medias on there at TwoDumbYinzers.com.
There you go, everybody. Check it out. We are live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Please keep continuing to check us out. We appreciate each and every one of you greatly. Mike, I'm just looking right now. I see that the Tyler, the quarterback for the Ravens, he is also on a concussion protocol after his hit, Tyler Huntley. So What a Raven Steeler game. Your
was
starters
too.
are coming out with concussions. You couldn't nail it more on the head, Mike. That's what it was. It was a Raven Steeler game. Nobody can argue that. I enjoyed it. I would have liked to enjoyed it a lot more from the other side, but unfortunately that did not happen. Mike, do you have anything before we take off for today, sir?
Is it hockey season yet?
It's getting there.
Can we just switch to hockey? Because Steelers season getting depressing. I'm loving me some Penguins whenever I get a chance to watch them.
Yes. I think a lot of people might agree with you, Mike. And I do want to say welcome back, P. We haven't seen you for a while. Nice hearing from you, sir. Hopefully maybe we'll talk again soon. And for everybody else, we appreciate you checking us out. For Mike, Ryan, the Two Dumb Yinzers, have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow.